No, we can't, brother. Guys, listen, welcome. It's the Neocortex, and we're going to do a natural live podcast today with a very inspirational brother. I need to introduce you guys to him. We don't know what we're going to talk about, but we're going to be focusing on main topics of habits and how to improve your lifestyle. Because remember, that's what this channel is about, the Neocortex. Elevate from your lower self to your higher self. So let's get cracking. Welcome, my brother. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good to have you on the show. So tell me, man, what's been going on? I know you just come back from Pakistan. How's it been, bro? And guys, by the way, yeah, me and the brother got this thing where we actually sometimes start laughing out randomly. And it's been a thing that's been going on for a while. It's normally me to blame. So excuse me if that happens. I'm going to try to control it. But if it does happen, we'll just crack on. All right? Let's go, guys.
What was the question
again? So, bro, just an intro. How was Pakistan? What happened there?
Wicked, man. Was there for about 1 month. Went to the northern months. Started already.
No, he said 1 month. I know, but I told the brother to shout when he has to speak because obviously the camera and stuff. But yeah, sorry guys.
No worries, man. So it was for about 1 month. I went to northern parts of Pakistan. Went to like Hunza, Gilgit, basically where all of the Himalayas part are. Stayed there for about 2 weeks. After that, came back to the eastern part in Punjab, Faisalabad.
Where are you from originally, bro?
So my dad is from Faisalabad, which is in Punjab.
Yeah. And
my mum, although she grew up in Karachi, her granddad, so my nana, he's actually from a small village called Lala Musa, which is in Punjab as well.
Lala Musa? Lala
Musa. It's running through like Jhelum and Gujarat and all these places in Punjab.
Bro, hold on. So Punjab is in the middle, yeah? I'm from Punjab, right? So shout out Punjab. Punjab's in the middle, right?
I guess you would call it like the eastern part of Pakistan, I guess you would say.
Oh, is it?
I guess, yeah. I guess.
Is it east?
Yeah, I guess you'd call it the eastern part of Pakistan.
And then where did you end up going?
So initially I was in the north, and then it came back down to the east.
Oh, okay.
So the northern parts of it, like, it borders China, Afghanistan on the west, and China in the north, and part of India on the east. But,
did you say you actually went to see the border?
Yeah, Chinese border.
Did you see any...
Crazy, man.
But you should have helped out the brothers, man.
Which brothers are you talking about?
The Uhigyo Muslims.
Yeah, unfortunately I didn't get to cross. Very strict.
Nah, stuff like that. It's a very serious situation.
Nah,
there,
definitely, man.
May Allah relieve their burden.
Oh, I mean.
But yeah, so how are you feeling, bro? Being back home, UK? Well, I don't know. Is this back home or is that back home? What would you consider back home, man?
Definitely back home, man. London's home. Not gonna lie, a bit shit. It's cold, man. It was nice weather over there. I was enjoying it. Good food. Obviously, home is home. Like the last day of travel, you're always happy to come home. Like, yes, I'm gonna come back home, see the family, go back to your bed. That's a big miss. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, man. Other than that, back to normal routine, man. Some would say slaving.
There's a lot of people say that, you know, working is equivalent to slavery nowadays. What's your take on that, man?
Yeah, I mean, although I've just said it, I don't necessarily agree with it, but at times I do feel like, what am I doing with my life? Because although alhamdulillah I've got a good job, I'm doing well in a dunya perspective, you could say. I can't be working for the rest of my life now like this. I can't just keep doing this until I'm 75 and get a pension, if I even live to see that age, inshallah. Like, this can't be life, man. But I'm not ungrateful, because a lot of people in the world who are doing much less, or have much less to play with. I've got given good cards in life, so I'm playing with the cards that I've been dealt. And alhamdulillah, they've been good. But, like I've just said, I can't just be working all my life, man. I swear down. I think about that sometimes, bro. I'm only 27.
But because I've had this sort of same thought, thinking as well. But what I think when I hear, or there's some other people I have say that as well. But then I think, you know, so if you don't, what do you actually mean by I can't do this for the rest of my life? Like, what can you not do for the rest of your life?
I just can't see myself working as I am for the rest of my life. Like, I feel like work takes up at least half of your life. And if that was the time, which is going to be half of my life, I would have, thinking into the future, I would assume that when I look back, I would be like, although I made money and it was all good, surely I could have tried to make money another way where I had more freedom with my time, because although work is cool, it gets boring. It's mundane, what we spoke about earlier off camera. Reality right now for me is so mundane since I've come back from Pakistan.
Especially with work from home, right?
So I've been working from home for 3 years now, full time. Interesting for me because in the beginning I loved it, but I guess you could say I'm quite extroverted, so I do enjoy being around people.
Which is why you're always going on holiday.
You could say that. I don't know about always, but quite a lot, yeah.
How many countries have you been to, bro?
Damn. Top of my head, probably about 19.
MashaAllah. How many are there?
In the world?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure.
How many are there? I think it's 2. I don't know. Actually, I've got no idea.
I think there's like 126, but I
Is
could be
it?
completely wrong.
Yeah. I don't want to make myself look bad, man. I actually don't know.
Now go on, take a guess.
I could ask
Take a
Siri.
guess. Take a guess.
I have a feeling. I had a feeling it was in 200s.
I think 126, and I was very precise, but I don't
Really?
know. Check our Siri.
Let's see. I can't ask Siri, but what does Joe Rogan say
About what?
when he asks someone to check something?
I don't actually know.
195.
Jeez. So yeah,
So
you're
we were in
right.
the middle, bro. I said 250. You said 125.
Okay, yeah.
So bro, you got a long way to go, man. Off your goal of traveling the world.
Yeah, definitely. You've got a long way to go, man.
Nah, but
70
is that your goal?
countries more.
Do you intend on doing that at some point?
Nah, probably not. I'll be honest.
Okay, and bro, just to come back to the point which you made about work, right? So, is it the fact that you're working for someone else which is the problem? Because I know you, bro. I don't think you'd be willing to not work for the rest of your life. You'll always be working. You'll always be doing something productive. You're a very active brother, mashallah. So it's not actually working, right? It's working for someone. Is that what you mean?
To some extent, yes, but to some extent, no. I think the main thing is, if I'm being completely honest, is the price for my labour. Every time I get a promotion, and with that you get more salary, once you get into like 2-3 months of that job, you realise that, so you believe anyway, your worth is more. So I keep thinking, or I keep believing that from what I'm doing, I should be getting paid a lot more. So I think I'm underpaid, or I'm underachieving in that sense. I could be doing something a lot more with a better paying job, if I'm being completely frank and honest. So in that aspect, I'm thinking, am I wasting my time? Although I'm getting job satisfaction from the role that I'm doing, I could be doing another role where I could be getting paid more. And that is a venture I'm potentially going to take. I'm doing some courses and whatnot, because I currently work in the public sector, and I'm thinking some of the skills that I've got are transferable within the private sector. So that's a step I'm willing to take. But yeah, honestly, the main thing is, as you're aware, bro, money. Everything is so expensive right now, so inflated. Like how we were speaking earlier off camera.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me saying on camera.
Yeah,
About like how
I'm not sure, guys. I might have to cut this out.
now basically like how everything is so expensive right now. So like in terms of me, I'm trying to get married hopefully soon. It'll be quite difficult for me to find a place for myself
Okay,
and these
yeah.
sort of things. And obviously I'm looking at it from an Islamic perspective, where I want to be the person, not want to be, but essentially it is my duty to be the person to take care of all of the bills in the household. So realistically, in this day and age in London, it's near enough impossible unless you're earning like really good money, especially as newlyweds. So I don't know, man. I just want to get more money.
Excuse me. In London, the average rental property, say it's 1-bed flat, is what, £1,000, and that's a very low estimate,
Yeah,
right?
I think that's a very low estimate.
£1,250, really, yeah.
Yeah.
Take into account bills and this and that, you're talking £1,750.
And that would be in a not nice area, probably a lot further out to where you'd be working, and it'd probably be quite an old flat and quite run down. So yeah.
So generally, the cost of living would come to about £1,500 to £2,000 a month minimum.
Minimum, yes.
And then the average salary, let's say you're on 40 grand, what's that? That's about 2,400 a month. No, less than that, right?
I think it's about 2,400.
20. Let's say 2,400.
Yeah.
So you've got £300-400 spare, and you want to save for the future.
So what are you saving? You can't save anything for £300. That's excluding going out, activities, little takeaway here and there, gym fees, your bills and whatnot, phone bills, broadband. These things add up as well, man. Gas, electricity.
And then the thing is, now, what's one thing that's very pertinent as well, is that people should be getting married younger, I believe.
Okay.
Because the issue of social media and the modern world is that we're a hyper-sexualized environment.
No doubt.
So brothers are roasting, sisters are roasting, everyone wants to do the deed, and there's nothing wrong with doing that.
Yeah.
not to be so, direct, but
Yeah,
that is
bro.
a real
Yeah.
subject. So but the problem is the barrier to marriage is so high because we believe that we have to have this certain financial stability to achieve that, goal of marriage. Which is right. You said that, it's the man's responsibility to provide that. So I don't know. I mean, it's a tough situation for the brothers.
Yeah,
They
I
don't
think
have
it's
the money to
interesting that you say
provide.
that. I think it's interesting to say that. Sorry to cut you off, because sometimes we feel like it's our duty, and it is. But sometimes some of the sisters, it's not really a big of an issue for them. But some of their parents are saying stuff like, "You must have a house by now. You must be earning X amount of salary. You must have this. You must have that. You must have a car. You must have this." So sometimes it's not even the sisters; it's your potential in-laws.
And would you say that's mainly in the Asian communities, or do you know if that's widespread across?
I mean, I'm more indulged within the Asian community, and it's definitely prevalent within the Asian community. But I've seen that within some of the Arab community and some of the Somali community as well. So I think generally, yeah, it might be more within the Asian community, but I feel like that's the thing within all communities now, man. Whether that's Asian, Arabs, East Africans, West Africans, whatever it may be.
I mean, I guess it is right, that the man should, because it is the financial responsibility of the man to provide the place of residence separate from his own family house.
Yeah.
But given the times that we're living in, I do find, and this is what I done myself as well, is we done the nikah before we moved in together.
Yeah, I remember.
So obviously it comes down to the individuals themselves, and at the end of the day, yes, your parents' decision is important, but as two grown adults, it's your responsibility and your decision. Well, I don't know how it actually works for the sisters, Islamically speaking. I think the wali has to approve, perhaps. I'm not actually sure.
I believe so, anyway.
So I guess it's a tough one. I mean, for me personally, my parents and her parents were not happy in the beginning, but what we did, we had faith and we had like tawakkul in Allah, and we really pushed for it.
Yeah.
And alhamdulillah, it happened at a young age. I think I got married at in 2019.
Yeah.
So I was 24, 25, and my missus was 23, 24. And alhamdulillah, man. And this is what Allah said in the Quran, that when you get married, do not get married for fear of poverty, because Allah will provide for you.
Yeah.
And don't kill your children for fear of poverty, because Allah will provide for your children. And I'm not wealthy by any stretch of the imagination, but subhanallah, anytime I've had a situation in my life, whether it was getting married or having a child or anything, there's always some miraculous way where money just comes in. And you've seen it happen, right? So subhanallah, I mean that's the message for anyone if they're watching and they're thinking whether to get married, is one is to try and convince your parents and have faith in God, and two, just go for it. If it comes to the money sort of problem, don't worry about that, because Allah's promised that He's going to take care of that for you. And if you're doing it for the intention of purifying and sanctifying yourself, because otherwise what you're going to be doing, you're going to be tempted by temptations which are all around us today.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
that's definitely interesting, and that is the right way of looking at it. But I'm probably in the other camp where, although I do believe that, it's a bit difficult for me to actually follow through on that, because I still feel like I need to have certain things in place before I get married. Whether that's my own insecurities, whatever it may be, that's another issue. But I haven't really followed through with that mindset, although I know that is the right way to go about it. So that's a whole other topic. Yeah.
I wonder where does that stem from though, and I don't know. I don't think we don't want to get too into that in this video, but it's a point to think about, right? Like,
definitely, yeah. Because essentially, it would be my own insecurities for whatever reason it may be.
Would it? I mean, what? Okay, we'll try to do this without going into you personally.
Okay, yeah.
But if we break down the argument, right?
Okay.
So let's say I'm proposing the idea that if you're a man and you're 25 years old and you want to get married, but you're worried that you don't have the finances secured to get married, so you delay marriage, right? But when Allah said that He will provide for you if you choose to get married, then what is that's my, that's what I'm putting forward.
Okay.
So what would you counter? And it's not a debate, but what's your stance? And I think you just said it, but if we just...
So basically, I guess what I would be thinking in a situation like that is, have I got a place for myself to stay? Not necessarily a place that I own, but even rent. Okay, cool, I can rent a place now. How much would the bills be? How much would the rent be? How much would any extra bills be or any other activities I want to do, then I think about things like this and I think, maybe at this time I'm not ready financially to get ready, to get married rather, sorry. So that could be one aspect as to why I'll be thinking marriage isn't right for me at this moment in time.
But bro, you, as in like you personally, and I don't mean to like, but you would be able to afford rent right now.
I mean, yeah, I would, and I think I could live a fairly decent life, but that's probably the level of like debate. What is fairly decent? Because for me, it might be so different with someone else. Because I'm quite a minimalist, as you know, in every aspect, really.
So you're saying it depends on the person?
Definitely. Because when you get married, you're living with someone else, aren't you? And I guess you know this better than me. You actually get to know someone you really live with them, as opposed to just getting married. When you live with them is when you actually get to know the person. And for me, I'm very minimal in many aspects of my life. So, generally speaking, women are not so minimal as opposed to like men, generally speaking. So, I don't know, what might be okay for me might not be okay for my partner per se. So these sort of things, I can get by generally. So that's an interesting perspective, I'd say.
I don't want to stick on this topic too long, but just a last comment. Is it perhaps actually, and I don't know if you have anyone there, bro, so this might be a sticky one if it is, and if it is, we'll crop it out. But is it perhaps a question, not actually about the finances, but perhaps about, do you actually want to marry this person or not?
But let me ask you this then, because you're actually married. And I'm actually not married at the moment, but I'm going through a situation where I'm planning to get married hopefully this year or next year, inshallah. How do you know you want to get married? How do you know this is the right one? Because obviously I want to get married, but like, bro, let's be real. I'm a young guy. There's a lot of good-looking sisters out there. There's a lot of good women out there with good personalities, good backgrounds, etc., good mannerisms. How do you know this is the one? Because sometimes I'm speaking to a sister, and may Allah forgive me, I'm not trying to be arrogant in any way, shape or form, but just as a man, sometimes, you know, you lose interest. I'm sure a lot of women lose interest in men as well. It works both ways nowadays, because your eye wanders. You see other situations, other individuals, and you start thinking. So how do you stay tunnel vision and realise and decide this is the one? I want to get your perspective on this. If you don't mind.
You know what, bro? It's... Well, obviously in Islam we actually have Salat Istikhara, so we pray to Allah to guide us towards something. If it's good for us, make it easy for us and open the doors to it for us, and if it's not, then to drive us away from it. And basically that's what I did, really, because like you said, bro, I mean, subhanAllah, obviously you're going to find someone who your soul feels inclined to, so you're already debating marriage with them, you're contemplating it. Now when you get to that stage, you're thinking, okay, do I want to do it or not? Because it's a big decision, right? It's not like putting on clothes. It's going to impact the rest of your life, and there's no right answer. You're never going to know whether it's the right answer or not. So you make istikhara, and then you get this feeling. I can't describe what happens after istikhara. It's not like you see a dream or you have a vision, but you just have this feeling coming to you. And it's sort of the way that Allah does everything in life, is that, you know, really and truly everything's in God's hands anyway. So we just get moved along the pieces of the puzzle, and while we think we're actually making those decisions, really it's God making those decisions for us. And istikhara helps us to maybe come in tune with the best thing for us. I don't know if I've explained it very well, but basically what happened for me was I prayed Salatul Istikhara, and I just found that, you know what, paths were facilitated, and it just made sense, and it just felt right to do it. And just sort of, you have to go with the momentum. It's like when I handed in my notice at that job where I met my missus, I just had an inclination in my heart to do it, and it just felt like it was the right thing to do. And when I did that, they offered me a promotion. So yeah, that was it, really. I don't think the answer to your question is, how do you know if it's the right person to get married to? The answer is, you can never know. You either do it or you don't. And I think the purpose is to make the decision quickly. And just one more thing, you mentioned about eyes gazing, and that is one of the biggest issues for us in today's world. Is whether we're not married or we are married, is our eyes gazing. So, you know, if we can control that, it will control a lot of our things. And then last thing, obviously the Prophet ﷺ said that young men who cannot afford to get married, they should fast. Because what that does, and this is going to be one of my next videos, is that fasting actually decreases your sexual desires and drive,
Definitely.
so that you don't have those eyes gazing, which will make ease for you in this life. But yeah, bro. I mean, if you have any closing marks on this topic,
I've got one, but I won't go into too much detail because that would open up a whole new topic. So your mindset about leaving it all to Allah and Allah knows best is completely right. But I feel like some brothers or sisters may be more inclined to have this mindset because their upbringing may have been a 2-parent household as opposed to a 1-parent household. So I think things like this make certain people coming from a single-parent household think, I really want to make sure I pick the right person because I've seen how when it goes wrong, the effects it has on individual and the family. But that's a whole other topic. That's only closing remarks. But everything else I definitely agree with. Even that I agree with.
That's a big one. Yeah, for sure. Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. I'm just looking at it from one perspective. There's so many, and that's one perspective, and there's probably so many other perspectives as well to take into account. And it's not the right
perspective. I am saying that your perspective is right because irrespective of what I just said, you should always have faith in Allah. Allah knows best.
That's true.
And just because your parents might have not had a great relationship doesn't mean you and your missus or you and your spouse won't. And just because your parents had a great relationship doesn't mean you and your spouse will. It's not something that is linear per se. It's not like it's brought down. But I guess being raised up in a certain environment, you're definitely more conscious of certain things and how it can go AWOL. But yeah.
No, that's definitely, because I wasn't even a sort of like, thought in my mind said to hear that, and then there's obviously so many other perspectives as well.
Definitely, man.
But yeah, like you said, bro, it will be a long topic if we go into that.
Yeah, I ain't trying to get into that today.
So we'll leave that for today. But what else, man? Let me just see the time. You think of the next topic, bro? Ooh, we've got about 15 minutes actually, man.
What's the time?
4:25.
You know what? 15 minutes. Next topic. I haven't really got one, As you can see, it's all been last minute freestyle.
How's gym, bro? Mashallah, you've put on a lot of size, man. You've put on a lot of mass. You guys will not believe me, yeah? This brother that you see here, he used to be, how much he used to weigh, bro? Maybe 2 years ago?
2 years ago, forget 2 years ago, let's say 9 months ago.
9 months ago.
I was 71 kilos.
Bro, 9 months, you had a baby or something, bro?
Yeah. Oh, man. So, 9 months later, 83 kilos. Not too bad.
So was that 72, 83?
71 to 82, 83. I think I'm 82.
So that's what, 12 kilos,
11, 12
9
kilos,
months.
9 months, yeah.
So that's about 1 point something kg per month.
And the last 3 months, I haven't been so consistent with gym. I've been travelling here and there. My diet's not been great. I was ill for a bit as well. No excuses, but I'm trying to say basically I've not been fully consistent. But I've struggled to gain recently because I think I had the newbie gains in the beginning.
Yeah.
Now I'm struggling a bit to gain, but I'm not trying to gain too much. But
what did you say? Booby gains?
I think I said newbie gains. We'll check later.
And bro, just give us one flex, please, for the camera, man. That's actually looking sick.
Not too bad.
Mashallah, man. Brothers, so look, we'll put a picture of the before. Shall I put a picture of the before?
Bro, yeah,
for Morocco in 20... when was that, bro?
2017. 2017. You know what? That picture, we'll do it from 9 months ago because at that time, boy, completely different person, man. Astaghfirullah. That's all I can say is astaghfirullah.
How much were you weighing back then, bro? Because the point of that is, guys, that the brother was the ectomorph, right? So definitely. He was very skinny.
Extreme ectomorph.
And mashallah, he's putting a lot of pure mass because he hasn't got much body fat on him at all. So, bro, tell me, man.
I'm trying to think. 2017, I could have been potentially around like 64, 63 kilos.
No, I think you were less, bro.
Maybe less.
Because I remember when you were bulking to 65, and you were happy that you got to 64, 65.
Yeah,
I remember.
60.
You were 60, I think. You and one other brother were about 57, 60. He was, you guys were around that sort.
Oh, damn, that's scary to think, man. And the crazy thing is, now this is about perception. In that moment of time, I actually didn't think I was skinny. I was actually quite confident with how I look, which is crazy to think. Because for whatever reason, I seem to have done all right with the opposite gender. Speaking in a halal manner.
MashaAllah.
And now that I've been going gym and I've gained a lot more and I look more better, I'm actually more conscious of how I look now.
That's what they say, innit? It's bigorexia.
Not big yet, but something Bigorexia, yeah, for me.
No, but that's the thing, bro. Someone will look at you and say, "Mashallah, you know, this brother's looking wham."
Yeah.
But then for you, if you were yourself 4 years ago and you saw yourself, you'd be like, "What? I'll never look like that." And now you're here now, and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're thinking, "Damn, I'm not big enough."
Yeah.
So it's a mad psychological state.
But back then, if I look at pictures, I look like a completely different person. But I still remember vividly back then, I thought I looked good. I don't know why, but I thought I looked good.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I was a lot more, maybe secure, for lack of a better word, within my physique, which makes no sense to me because I knew I wasn't big. Not that I'm big now, but you know.
That's what but that's what happens, isn't it? I mean, you are big now, but now you don't see yourself as big. But I guess it's it's called the RAS, right? Reticular activation system.
Okay.
Right? So it's like when you're thinking of a yellow car, you're going to see a yellow car everywhere you go.
Yeah, I hear that.
So now that you're thinking of your physique, that's all you're thinking about. But back then you weren't thinking about it, so it wasn't really a topic. But yeah, what's inspired that change, and how's the journey been, man, for, going from skinny to big?
Honestly speaking, you were definitely a main inspiration in that, I can't lie. This brother's been going gym consistently, on and off, but for the most part consistently for how many amount of years? You can probably answer that.
Probably started when I was 2005, so it's been about 18 years.
Yeah,
now.
and he's always been fairly big, relatively big, when you consider how old we were, etc., etc. Now he's wham, man. He's been off gym for a long time, and he's still.
I haven't been gym for about 5-6 months now.
I think one thing this brother taught me was, back then when I used to go gym, I used to focus too much on motivation, how I felt going gym, and this brother once explained to me nicely. It's not about how you feel when you want to go gym. It's about the time when you don't want to go gym and you still go.
I said that.
I believe you did.
I think that was Andrew Tate, bro.
Show me the take it out.
Yeah, I shaved my head, guys. So
I thought it was Andrew Tate for a second.
I'm gonna keep it.
But basically,
no, but really, did I say that?
I think he might have. Maybe not as wordy as that, but I'm sure.
Maybe, bro. If I did, then nice.
Essentially, the lines were like, it's about discipline. It's not about motivation. Because motivation fluctuates all the time. Discipline is a steady line. You just go no matter what. Had that mentality. In addition to working from home, helped me a lot.
Oh yeah.
Big perk. No more commuting. No more eating out. I mean, I was always healthy, but like, I've got a proper fixed routine with gym. Right after work, log off straight gym. Walk 10 minutes. Do my workout.
And
come
you've
back.
been doing that for 9 months, yeah?
Yeah, 9 months. And
but I saw you going gym like 8-9 p.m. sometimes now.
Yeah, because it's been cold. I don't want to walk.
What happened to discipline, man?
Yeah, I hear that. It's been a bit too cold, man, recently. So I'm thinking, you know what? I'll go later when there's parking available. So I drive up there.
Yeah. So how do you feel? Wait, okay, hold on. So what was it like in the beginning? I mean, in terms of finding the correct routine, is there a correct routine that you follow? Diet? Give us the details, man. Talk us through the journey. And don't not just the physical journey of the actual workouts and the diet, but also the psychological journey of, the milestones that you achieved, how you felt, and sort of any memories and that journey of the person inside.
I mean, this might be a bit of a shock to people, but you're quite aware.
Might be a bit quiet, bro. Just be mindful of that.
So I'm quite a stoic person in the sense that I don't think too much into the deeper details. I do because it benefits. That's my mindset. Anything that I do, it's beneficial for me. So I don't really look too deep into how I felt. I just get on with the job. To put it frank, like whatever it is that I do, it's for my own benefit. Anything that I don't do, it's my benefit as well. So I don't really think too much into the details, and that's probably a bad thing because like I don't realize my progression. I just do without realizing until someone says to me, "Oh, look at this! You've progressed in this aspect." I wouldn't realize unless someone tells me because I don't really do like milestone checks. The only thing that I do consistently a check up on is my weight. 3 times a week I check early morning as soon as I wake up. After I go to the toilet, I check myself morning weight. But in terms of like my diet, the main thing is I don't eat any junk food. I don't consume any fizzy drinks. I eat set meals 3 or 4 times a day, depending on how many calories that I need. I eat obviously desi food, and it's quite oily, but we'll try and cut down on the oil as much as we can. Have a lot of salad. Just stay disciplined, man. But I'm quite a stoic person. Some people will call me boring because I don't look to indulge in.
That's what I've got you saved as on my phone, bro. Boring, brother.
There you go. So yeah, man, like I said before, I don't really look too much into the details. I just get on with it now.
Okay.
And that's why I've made the progress that I have, because before I used to think too deep about things.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
for me,
like I get some people, you might have been one of them back in the day, man. And it's like, you know, they ask the specific details about the most minor thing, like how much should I twist my arm when I'm doing a bicep curl? And then you ask them, wait a minute, when's the last time you went gym? I went like 2 weeks ago. So, you know, it's like you're focusing on the wrong things. It's like what you said, bro. If you get the basics right, 3 times a week, you're getting stronger every week, you're getting heavier, that's it. It doesn't matter what time you eat your meal, what colour your protein shake is, and this and that. Some people like to get very minute into details, and then that just causes procrastination.
and for me personally, with my personality trait, it causes just laziness, really. And I get put off, and that's with anything. Even before, when I was like researching about Deen, I would go into so much detail to the point where I would be so beyond why the reason was to even research into the Deen, was to focus and improve in certain aspects. But I get lost in things which become irrelevant to me to some extent, and I end up getting put off the Deen because there's so many perspectives about so many different things, and that's beautiful. But for me, it's better just stick to the basics. I'm a basic person. Stick to the basics, get it done. Quite old school mentality, just get it done.
That's it though, isn't it? When you boil it down, even with the Deen, even with gym, it just comes down to doing the basics consistently
100%. Like sometimes,
for a long period of time.
Sometimes I don't feel like praying, but it's not about how you feel. You got to get it done. This is an obligation put upon us. And for some people, that might not sound nice, but that's just the way I do it, and it works well for me.
And I think that's sort of, as you grow up, it becomes a bit easier, right?
Yeah.
So for younger people that are watching this, I know me and you both struggled with this more so when we were younger.
Yeah.
But I think as you grow up, your sort of personality starts to become more stabilised.
Definitely.
So in the first, you know, when you're at uni or when you're coming out of uni, you're going to still be exploring different parts of yourself, trying out different aspects of your personality, taking the negative to the extreme, taking the positive to the extreme.
Yeah, definitely.
Cycling up and down. And then in the future, you may still cycle up and down, but I think those cycles will be longer and your baseline of who you are will be more stabilized.
Yeah.
And then that's why they say by the age of 40, mankind reaches, maturity. I think Islamically, actually, youth is defined until the age of 40.
Wow.
And that's when revelation came to the Prophet when he was 40 years old. Because that's when you're actually mature. And they say, even like Jordan Peterson was saying that, you know, the psychologists say that if a person's not fixed themselves up, or they're not mentally or spiritually, you know, at a good place by the age of 40, there's no hope for them.
It's very interesting.
So yeah, I think just as a message for the young people, that you're going to have more fluctuations in your life in your younger years, and then those fluctuations tend to level out for longer periods as you grow older. And I think eventually it comes to a point where you're not really fluctuating, you're just pretty consistent in who you are for a long period of time, if not forever.
I mean, that's interesting you say that, and I definitely agree with everything that you said. But I think the main thing for me is, like, I'm at an awkward age now where, like, so are you. We're at the age now where, like, we're not young, but we're not old. We're in between. We're 27/28. We're closer to our 30s than we are to our 20s. When I was younger, I would assume something like this age is old. And we spoke about this with a brother at the masjid today, after 10 years. And it was interesting, he had the same perspective as us, even though I've not seen him in 10 years. And he was like, time has flown by so much. Sometimes I'm thinking, for my age, am I doing enough? Have I done enough? But then it's like what you said, we still are fluctuating to some extent, but 40 is the age of maturities per se, on average. So it's interesting because we still got quite a lot of years to go, inshallah, until then. So
inshallah. I mean,
maybe we're too harsh on ourselves in that aspect. We try and think we need to be more on point in every aspect right now, without realising that this is just part of the journey, inshallah.
And bro, you know what? It's actually come up twice today, so I have to mention this point now. Speaking about mundane life, right? And then this other point where you said where that, you know, are we doing enough for our age? So the talk I mentioned to you, and I sent you the link, was a brother from Sheikh Hamza Yusuf's university, Zaytuna College, and he was talking about the mundane life. You know, we're living in a time where other people's lives are so visible to us, and everyone is sharing everything constantly, and we as human beings will always compare ourselves to others. So back in the day, they didn't have this. They didn't know what other people were doing. They didn't have that many people to compare it themselves to, just the people in the local vicinity.
Definitely.
Now we're comparing ourselves to billionaires and millionaires across the other side of the globe. And then we start questioning our value as people because of what we're doing.
Yeah.
But the brother went on to say that, look, if you're doing the basics, the benchmark for your value as a person should be, how is your relationship with Allah?
Definitely.
And if you're praying 5 times a day consistently, if you're being kind to your family, if you're keeping good relationships with your family, if you're working and earning an honest living, even if you're in the same job and you don't progress for 10 years, but you're earning an honest living and you're doing your prayers and you're being kind to the people, then your value is invaluable. And we shouldn't get into the habit of, looking at people and thinking, am I doing enough? And it's a very common thing, and it's going to become more and more common for our generation and the future generations, because we're going to have so much people's lives being poured onto us, and we just compare and think that we haven't got enough.
It's true.
But if you just got the basics down consistently and you've got a good relationship with God, then subhanAllah, you're living an amazing life, and it's a very valuable life. But that sort of gets lost in the meaning nowadays. We don't see that as much.
That's great points, man. And it's interesting you say about comparisons to other people's lives, because I'm quite an extremist in the sense that I've got no social media, as you're aware, and as someone with no social media, I still find myself naturally comparing myself to other people. So I can't even imagine if you had social media how extreme it might be then, because it's on your fingertips. Explore page, millionaires, everyone's wham, everyone's doing this, everyone's doing that, everyone's making money, and I'm without any social media access, and even then I find myself comparing myself to people.
I mean, you do say it, but you have to consider YouTube is a very big form of social media as well.
And I do watch a lot of YouTube, to be fair.
YouTube is a very anything like just YouTube or Google even, like we're seeing, or footballers. We're watching these footballers constantly. And then that's an interesting point, because even though we might think that we're saved from that, it's so hard to escape from it, because it's just part of who we are now.
No, you're right, because in my head I'm thinking social media, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and Facebook maybe.
Yeah.
But really and truly, YouTube is social media as well now.
Yeah, I mean, that's where all the vloggers are. Andrew Tate, he's massive on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
everyone, anyone can get big on YouTube. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Let me check one thing, bro. Carry on. Carry on, bro.
Carry on.
Speak to the fans, man.
The fans. I think it's a bit early to call it fans right now. Maybe in a few years we'll have some fans.
Come on, bro. They're only fans, man.
Keep the hell on, bro.
Brother, so I just checked. We've got about 10 minutes left to close up. Yeah, 10, 12 minutes to close up. So there's plenty of time anyway.
Yeah.
Social media, yeah? But it's not that social, really, is it?
Well, it depends. I mean, if you have you been accepted by, well, not you, you're a married man, but some people, they make it social. They start following people. You know what I mean? They get accepted. Start DMing people.
What do you mean?
Nah. I'm playing around. I'm trying to say you can make it however you want to make it. You can use it for whatever you want to make it.
That's very true.
If you want to be social, in the good ways or the bad ways, it's entirely up to you. There's ways to do it. Do you know what I mean? If you want to use it for business perspectives, you can use it for that as well. If you want to use it for business perspectives,
I'm gonna have to put something on there, like on the screen, man. Like a little, put something in. Nah, I can't be bothered to edit it, man. It's long to edit it.
So yeah, man, it depends entirely on how you use it.
But it's scary, man. SubhanAllah, I've got a little one, as you know, bro, and you just spent a lot of time with him.
Yeah, good kid, man.
MashaAllah, alhamdulillah. But in their generation, they're going to be on their phones, and they already are. You've got a niece.
Yeah, non-stop.
And they're just on their phones all the time.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a big challenge for us, man.
And by the time they get to like teenage years, there's going to be apps which are so advanced. Probably be VR in every app, if you get what I mean, and something beyond VR to the extent where they won't even feel the need to go out and socialise, because everything will be online. It really is like that. Even we're like that to some extent.
Literally.
We are. So I can't even imagine these lot are going to be brought into this. They're going to be raised into this sort of environment where every year, every 5 years, technology is rapidly advancing to the point where
it's actually sad, bro.
They don't need to go out. They actually don't need to go out.
As in, that is actually what has happened, over the past, since COVID, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Work from home, right? The cloud is getting massive. So everyone's going to be working from home eventually.
Yeah.
Virtual reality, right? But, think about this, bro. They call it virtual reality. This is what Sheikh Hamza Yusuf was saying is, but the thing is, it's not actually reality.
Yeah.
Why are they calling it virtual reality? It's not reality. This is reality.
Yeah, it's true, man. I never thought about that, you know.
But they call it virtual reality, but it's not reality. It's the farthest thing from reality.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You're putting on a headset, and you're escaped from reality.
Yeah.
But they call it virtual reality, and so it's sort of.
So what should it be called in your perspective?
I don't know what it should be called.
No, you're right though, because it actually isn't.
It's not reality, right?
I never thought about that.
I say when he said that, when Hamza Yusuf said that, and you know what? The thing I love about Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, guys, yeah, he's a very real person. He was telling the story of when he went to this Mauritania, right, and he met a woman, and he went to her house. And she asked him, "How's your family?" And he told her, "I've got brothers and sisters, and this is their names." He's got 10 siblings, I believe. And then he went back 10 years later, and she asked him, "Oh, Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, how's?" And she said their names by name. And she didn't have no social media. She didn't write it down. But this was a person who was living in reality. So she was actually making conversation for the sake of having a genuine conversation. And she was actually, when he said those names, she actually internalized them. And it became part of her actual reality. Whereas now we have, so much information into our brains that we have to filter so much, and we don't even focus on like our own families, and I'm guilty of this myself, because we spend so much time on our phones and spend so much time on social media.
We're there, but we're not present.
We're just not there.
We're not present, if you get what I mean.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I've been told that in the past myself. Sometimes I'm there, but I'm not fully there. I'm not fully present in the moment sometimes. Because of information over there, I'm always on my phone or checking this or checking that, filtering out what I need to be told and what I want to read and what not.
So why have we got to this point as a species? Is it good? Is it bad? How have we got here? And where are we going?
I think it's more bad than good. There's definitely a lot of benefits from all these advances. Where we're going, that's a whole other topic within itself. The Matrix, why we are being pushed certain narratives and agendas upon us. That's another video coming out soon.
Is it? Bro, you got a YouTube channel?
Coming out soon as well. So, I'm not going to get into that, mostly because of the time restrictions that I've got right now.
Yeah.
But I generally believe that it's more bad than it's good. Because we don't live in reality anymore. What is reality?
It's crazy. I mean, okay, actually, that's very interesting, bro. You just came back from Pakistan, where they're quite in tune with nature, right? Or is it so much social media there as well? I guess it's reached every part of the globe now, pretty much, isn't it?
I mean, there are some parts of Pakistan where it's not so much, like in the northern parts where it's a lot more tribal, closer to the mountains, and then the Himalaya side. But even then, everyone's got a phone, everyone's got Instagram or Snapchat. The connection might not be as good as ours, so it might take them a lot more longer to, use it. But essentially, they all got everything. It's everywhere, man. Every pocket of the world is ingrained within social media.
And I mean, it's not a bad thing, right? It can be good if you're sending pictures abroad and this and that, but when we're all at the point of overconsumption of social media.
It's an addiction. Literally, it's an addiction. For many people, not all, but for many people.
Yeah.
Sometimes I look at my phone. I haven't even got any social media, and I look at the screen time.
I'm
not going to say the numbers because it's embarrassing.
But what is that on then? YouTube or
YouTube? Reading like articles and whatnot, around the world, geopolitics, history.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're a very big history fan, right?
Yeah. But even then, sometimes I think about Sky Sports apps, football stuff.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time looking at that, and then I don't even realise until I look at my screen time. I'm like, that's embarrassing. I could have used the time so much more wisely elsewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, hindsight's always a blessing, but definitely, man, I feel like that. And I don't even have social media per se. If I had that, I can't even imagine how much more time I would waste.
And the thing is, you know what? It's interesting, right? Because now we're in reality, right? This is real life, and we're having a real conversation.
Yeah.
So we're actually reflecting on life.
Wait, let me throw a curveball right there. How do you know this is reality? And that's another video coming out soon as well. Because that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually been looking into that. So it's called Solopsism, right?
Yeah.
Where you think that reality is all just in your head. But then this is sort of, obviously as Muslims, bro, we don't actually mean that, right?
Of course not, yeah.
Because I did actually when my faith was a bit weaker back in my younger days,
Yeah, yeah.
I did like juggle with that concept a bit more. You know, how do we know this is reality? Blah blah blah. But when you actually think about it, it doesn't actually mean anything, and it's been broken down philosophically.
Definitely.
And it's a very weak and very depressing state of existence because
I think it wasn't just you, it was me and another brother, one of ours as well, that we used to chill with. We all had that sort of mindset at a particular time. Not a mindset, but we were questioning things about what is reality, these sort of things. We all went down a similar road, hence why I threw that in there. Old hands. Because it's crazy to think how we've developed or progressed physically, mentally, spiritually, in every aspect. So it's just funny sometimes when I throw things in like that to think we used to believe a certain thing and now we look back and we laugh about that.
Wait, bro, just maybe slightly off camera, but when are you talking about, bro? Is it a long time ago or not too long time ago?
Well, it depends on how you define as long time or not too long. But more like a fairly long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I guess you could say that, no?
As in, like, last year?
Last 1-2 years, let's say.
Okay, yeah. Okay, cool.
Not you in particular, but all of us, collectively speaking.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about, bro.
Yeah.
But listen, so coming on to that, actually, let's end this with this. You know, we've still got about 5-6 minutes. Reality, right? So, subhanAllah, now reality is that this life, okay, you're right, actually, bro. This isn't real because this is what's called the Dunya, right?
Yeah. That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah, okay.
And it's just not real.
I mean, this is our reality of now, not forever. Inshallah, we get a much better reality for eternity in Jannah.
Inshallah.
As opposed to Jahannam. But that's what I was trying to get at as well.
Oh,
I
really?
wanted you to like say it as opposed to me spitting out, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I'm glad that you
yeah.
understood what I meant to some extent.
Yeah. SubhanAllah. So this is just a stop on our journey.
This is a temporary life for us.
And we don't realise that in our day-to-day because we get so caught up. And actually, one of the very now this is a very interesting point, actually, right? Because I've been a guy who's been on gym and I've been off gym. And the thing is, like you said, right, when you were off gym, you didn't really care about your physique, so you thought you were sick. You thought you looked good. And then when you're on it, you think you care about your physique, so you think you don't look good. But obviously, now that I'm off it, I don't really care about my physique, so I don't mind. But what I've found is, personally for myself, is that if I'm ever in a phase of overconsumption of calories and excessive, you know, being consumed with working out and stuff, then what I find is that my spirituality weakens. And
I definitely agree with that.
My mental sharpness weakens in the sense that I don't really care so much about learning, reading, this and that. But as soon as I stop gym, all of a sudden my spirituality and my thirst for knowledge shoots up.
Are you sure it's gym as opposed to overconsumption of food?
You're right, it's overconsumption of food.
Like what you said earlier, fasting. It controls and weakens your desires to some extent. So you can use that time more wisely. As we see in Ramadan, like sometimes when we focus on the dunya, we're not as efficient as we can be all the time, but in Ramadan we go through the Quran, we go through du'as, we go through all sorts much more efficiently because we've got a much more of a strict hold on our desires, eating, drinking, whatever it may be. So although it could be gym, I think in your case,
no, I know,
and
you're
most
right.
people's cases, it's the overconsumption of calories or food.
Mm.
But another thing with you in particular, when you do something, you do it 101%. There's no half-hearted with you. There's no 99%. There's a 101%.
No.
You will go to every single detail and you will learn every single aspect and you will implement every single aspect as well as you can.
Mm-hmm,
So maybe that's another aspect as well. Because
now, bro, is that a?
I mean, you know better than me, but I guess what I'm trying to get is when you peak and you go so extreme, when there's a peak, naturally there's a fall as well.
Yeah.
So maybe because you do something so intensely, naturally, because it's not balanced, you will come down naturally and crash.
Yeah. It's very true. It's very true. I mean, speaking for now, for example, right? And this will be part of the videos that will come out anyway. So I was previously very on gym.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
No, I was very on gym
yeah.
for a long period of time. 4 years consistently on it, really extremely, to the point where I was, really not into.
Say your numbers. How much were you benching?
I could bench 150.
Yeah,
I bench
kg.
150 kilos.
How much were you squatting?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I wasn't really squatting too much, as in I wasn't actually squatting.
Yeah.
Max I've ever done is 180 for 3,
Yeah.
but I wasn't really squatting.
And deadlift?
And deadlift max I've done is 210, 220, but again...
Jeez. And how much were you weighing at that point?
90.
Crazy numbers. Like I said, this guy was on it.
Yeah, I was on gym. But yeah, so for the past 4 years I was on gym and it was all there, but then like mental, spiritual was here.
Yeah.
And then I stopped gym and mental and spiritual is here now. Whereas previously, many years ago, back in uni, Birmingham days, or right after that, spiritually was here.
Yeah.
Mentally was here and gym was here as well.
Yeah.
And then I switched, and then I've switched again. Because now, I'm on a very spiritual, mental sort of plane.
I remember that.
As you know, bro, like I'm waking up, I'm waking up early, sleeping early. I'm sort of trying to keep a very controlled life. What's your view on all this, bro? Not just for me, not just for my scenario, but in general.
So I think it goes back to what I was saying before.
Carry on, bro.
About being stoic, in the sense that I just get on with it. What happened?
Bro, you know what? I need to go on, finish it off, bro.
On that note, people, it's been a lovely discussion.
Battery's running out, guys.
So we leave it there. Lovely.
Bro, finish off on that last point you were saying, bro. We need to finish this.
What was I saying again? Lost my train of thought. I actually can't remember, to be honest with you. What was the question again?
About balance and this and that.
So I just get it done. It's balanced throughout. Hence why I don't really crash. I don't go overboard. I don't go below. So if I just get it done, I don't crash. Just get it done consistently, as opposed to being extreme. Because with every up, there must be a down. Naturally, with every peak, there must be a crash. So if you try and balance it out, as opposed to being extreme, you'll be a lot more consistent. And I also think, like I said before, it's not to do with gym. It was more to do with your overconsumption of food. Hence why, I'm paraphrasing here, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ would say you should eat a third solid, third liquid, and the third you should walk. And you should always make sure you don't overeat to the point where you feel full. You should always feel you should feel full but not overly full. You should still feel enough to go about your normal day and not feel slumped, basically. And because we were bulking at a point, naturally you feel slumped. So I think it's more to do with eating. But that's a whole nother story.
Close it off, bro.
On that note, people, it's been a lovely discussion. Hopefully we'll have another one soon, inshallah.
Inshallah. Give us one flex, please, before we go, man. Mashallah, mashallah.
Deadline.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. See you on the next episode. Peace out.